Welcome to our conversation on presence. We are celebrating a life of presence. Dr. Nokwanda Edith Bam is a senior lecturer at the School of Nursing Science, Northwest University, Mafikeng campus, and she illustrates her life of presence through two striking examples. Through her example, we see the importance of being aware of the moment and being with the other. This brings us closer to the idea of presence. What is your view on presence?
Well, my view on presence, I will maybe talk in terms of giving stories of where maybe I felt it's a personal experience. I felt I was present in this situation, or a situation where I felt, no, I was not present in this situation. Something was going on within me that made me not to be fully present in this situation. So basically, still as part of my training as a nurse, I was confronted with a situation whereby, it was my first time to be exposed to night duty. So, and I was like looking forward so much that, being to experience that experience of being on night duty, and where now we have this 40-bedded ward, and maybe to just 4 staff members, what that experience would be, and also just to the experience of working on night duty in a medical ward. So I was in this ward. I just walked in, and it was hardly an hour, and there was a patient that was on oxygen. It was a female patient. And then this patient kind of made this sign, like, come here. So I went to her, and then she held my hand. She held my hand, and then she said to me, please stay here with me. So, okay. And then I said, of course, yes, I'm here. I am here with you. So she grabbed my hand, and she grabbed my hand very, very tight. And so I stood there, and very, very tight. I couldn't, go anywhere. So I stood there. I couldn't even sit because it was this type of beds that were tall beds, not these ones that you could adjust maybe. So still those high beds. So I stood there, and 1 hour went away. The patient was just tight on my hand, and as I kept watching her, I realized that she was sweating at times. So I would just get her hair towel next to this bedside locker, and just dab her face. And this is what I was doing within that time that I was standing there. So I was realizing now the patient is not letting me go. And then after that, I was standing there. She then said, I would like to see my family. Can you try to contact my family to come and see me? So, but still, she grabbed my hand. So as I tried to let loose a bit of this hand, and then she said, you can phone them, and then please do come back. Please do come back here. So, okay, I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. So I went to the sister in charge because I was only a student, and I went to the sister in charge just to report that this patient has asked me to be with her, and she's asked that we phone her family. So I basically had, of course, taken her file so that we can then get the details to call the family members. And the sister then in charge managed to get one of her daughters. She said she had 4 daughters. So, and then of course, a sister she phoned, and then she said, okay, she got this daughter, and then the daughter said she would manage to come the next day, which was the following morning. because remember this was night duty. So, and they were coming from far, so they couldn't travel that night. They had to get a taxi, and that would only happen the next day. So I then went to her to give her the response. I said, this is, the sister managed to phone, and she got your daughter. And then she said, they said they would come the next day. And then she said, okay, fine. You then, but you remain here. So this is it. So she held my hand, and so it was now almost the second hour standing. And then I realized then that within that time, the dyspnea was like getting intense, and into gasping respirations. And before she like got into the gasping respirations, she then said, I had no family, but you are now my family. So that's, for me, that was a touching experience. So she said, you are now my family. And then she fell unconscious, and then she breathed her last. Yes.
Sure. You were her family in that moment, and she felt not alone.
Yes. Yes.
That is really, that truly is presence, that you did not leave her, that you listened to her.
Yes.
And she felt at ease in those last moments.
Yes. I also felt, when I looked back, I felt this is the joy of nursing. Joy of nursing, you are with the person whilst the person is alive, and you're also there. You are also there as the person is dying. So,
sure. Thanks so much for sharing that. That's really inspiring, and your example will spread and inspire all of us to do the same.
Yeah, it is a gift. It is a gift, I must say. It is a gift to be able to be there, to be there. And it wasn't much, it's just her holding. So that for her, I didn't do much. She was just standing, or even taking the towel to dab her face, and that's it. She was just content. She was content. This is what she needed at the time, and I'm grateful that I could be there.
Yes, definitely. And it feels like not doing much, but it meant the world to her.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
So that is the one situation where I felt I was present to this person. I was present to this person until she gasped her last. She was an old lady, around 70 years old. So she gasped and her last. So that is the situation. I would say that is presence, that is being there. Yes, I gave it my all, and yeah. And then another situation where I felt maybe I was losing the touch. I was losing the presence with my patients. I was, after my completion as a nurse, as I said, during my training, we were it was that exposure, for 4 years. And I've gone around through all the departments of the hospital, and now I was like about 3 years in outpatient placed after my completion. Outpatient department was so busy. This was a district hospital, government hospital, so busy. lots and lots of patients, and because of its placement, it was more on a rural, semi-rural settings, rather semi-rural, far from urban areas. So a lot of patients that belong to the catchment area of this hospital were really poor patients. So this was an affordable hospital for them versus private hospitals that were around also more in urban areas where patients could not go. And also it was this time, in the 90s, this is when I trained. I trained from 95. So that time we had lots of HIV patients. So being there now 3 years almost in the same department, I enjoyed it in the first 2 years, but now in the towards my third year, I was like feeling maybe bored, so to say. I was feeling bored. I was feeling it's the same kind of routine. You were dealing with babies, because outpatient it was that kind of setting. You welcome everyone that comes into casualty. So it was this outpatient had also its own casualty, and the casualty was for adults and for kids, neonates, you name it. So all sorts of patients came through that through that contact there. So I felt now I was like bored of being in this world. Maybe I needed something different. So, and then also when I'm now talking to patients, I was feeling irritable. And then I felt, and now it's time to say, to acknowledge what I'm going through, and that maybe it's time to change. Maybe it's time to change. At that stage, I felt maybe nursing is not my calling now anymore. Maybe let me just have a step back and maybe see what else I can do. So I spoke to one of my religious authorities, and I explained that this is what I'm going through. I am dealing a lot with all sorts of patients, and mainly, of course, HIV patients, and I'm feeling drained. I'm feeling like I could change. And then she said, okay, it's good you are sharing this. Maybe you could go for a pastoral counseling course. And this course, what it would basically help you to maybe to be in touch with yourself, see what else could you do in the ministry. Maybe you could go for spirituality, this kind of an introduction into spirituality, this course. This is what she hoped. So I then went to Ireland in Dublin. This is where this course was offered. I had to sign from work. I signed a leave, 6 weeks leave. And of course, a bit of unpaid leave. So I took that annual leave, 1 month plus 2 weeks, maybe unpaid, that kind of thing. And then I went for this course. And during that course, I then felt, we are exposed there with a lot of people who have been in the ministry, different ages, others retired, others more or less my age, but they've been in ministry. They felt they needed also to maybe to look into themselves and decide the next step of their lives. So okay, I felt this was the right space. So then during that, you get exposed to a lot of inputs, maybe related to ministry, also counseling sessions, meaning that maybe how to look at situations squarely, objectively. And then I felt, oh, okay, this course actually gave me skills to go back to my, because I felt deep down, I felt I love nursing. So I said, okay, this course for me it has equipped me with skills to go back and share these skills. So I went back now to my work, and of course also at work I got changed into maternity department. At least I changed from the outpatient department. So I went to maternity department, and then those skills I could also use when counseling mothers that had maybe lost babies at birth, or maybe who had abnormal congenital disorders. So that's those shocking experiences some of the mothers were going through. You giving birth and you finding you have a microcephalic baby or a hydrocephalic infant. So all those experiences, as much as it was shocking for midwives, they were also shocking also for patients. So I was glad to use those experiences, the counseling experience, sessions with the patient, being there with the patient to allow the patient to go through those emotions of shock, fear of what they've seen, their babies, and so on and so on. So yeah, this is it. So what I would say is that was from the situation where I felt I could not give my presence. I could not be there emotionally, in mind. I was more irritable. I was more like feeling to like change or even leave nursing. I stepped back and came back revived. So I think those experiences, those two experiences, maybe they highlight the presence, caring presence, and as an experience of not so caring or not being there holistically.
Once again, thanks so much for sharing that. I think it links so closely with presence and that's the reality that as a nurse, we sometimes become drained and overwhelmed and tired, and that we really need a break. And also, as you said, to come in contact with ourselves, to be aware of where we are and who we are, what's important to us, and how can we be revived so that we can be more present again.
Yes.
And that's the balance, is that it's just realistic that we cannot be present 100% of the time, all of the time.
Exactly.
We need self-care as well, and others care for us. Yes.
Definitely.
So, wow. Thanks for sharing both sides of the coin with us. It's a really well-balanced view of presence.